rapper from Brooklyn is accused of using his music career to bankroll gang violence. Authorities arrested rapper Sheff G, whose real name is Michael Williams. He's charged, along with rappers Sleepy Hallow and 30 other reputed gang members, in connection with a series of shootings, one of them deadly. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett is in downtown Brooklyn with details. NJ?
Right, Sandra, outside the Brooklyn DA's office here in downtown Brooklyn, where the arrests were announced this afternoon. Yes, 2 rappers, including Sheff G, now under indictment for gang violence that terrorized neighborhoods in Central and South Brooklyn.
Don't be outside like that, gang.
Prosecutors say this is Michael Williams, a 24-year-old rapper known as Sheff G. In the video, they say he's taunting a rival gang leader. What happens next happens on surveillance video. A white sedan rolls up on the gang's headquarters, and the passengers blast the streets with bullets from the windows and the sunroof. One man is seen falling to the ground as everyone scatters. 30 shots are fired, 5 are wounded, and 1 man is killed. An accomplice blocks the street with a stolen SUV to allow the getaway car to escape. Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez.
Just a few days later, Sheff G takes the shooters from this incident and some other gang members for a very lavish, expensive steak dinner where they celebrate the score against their rivals.
Williams is just one of 32 people charged with various counts of murder, attempted murder, conspiracy, and assault in an investigation that goes back nearly 3 years.
These are subjects that woke up and lived every single day with one objective, and that was to benefit the gang, gain clout for the gang. How do you do that? You shoot ops for the gang. And all this was done strictly to send a message of gang dominance.
New York, big city of dreams. And everything in New York ain't always what it seems. You might get fooled if you come from out of town, but I'm down by law, and I know my way around. A castle in the sky, 1 mile high, built to shelter the rich and greedy, rows of eyes, disguised as windows looking down on the poor and the needy. Miles of people marching up the avenue, doing what they gotta do just to get by. I'm living in the land of plenty and many, but I'm damn sure poor, and I don't know why. How many lives will be lost to the streets and to prisons all over the country? New York, big city of dreams, where Brooklyn dudes are known to get busy. Gunshots ring out daily, leaving victims laying in their own blood. Sheff G and his right-hand man, Sleepy Hallow, both drill rappers that hit the top, were no strangers to violence. They lived the streets, but what did the streets really have for them? Was it fortune and fame, or a life sentence? Born on September 23, 1998 in Brooklyn, New York, to a Trinidadian mother and a Haitian father, he was raised in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn. He was influenced and inspired to rap by listening to Big and Chicago drill rappers like Lil Bibby and Chief Keef. Before getting into music, Sheff G joined the 83 8-Tray gangster Crips at the age of 12 and was in prison for 2 years for a felony gun charge. Joining a gang at a young age may have cost him his life. In 2015, he went back to prison for robbery for 2 years. Sheff got out in 2017 chasing a dream to be all he wanted to be. When asked about his childhood before rap, Sheff would say, growing up, all I was around was violence in school or hanging with my... It was rough in the streets. I had to be protected out there, so I rolled with the 83s. We was in Flatbush, especially on my block. I was a block baby, you heard? Like, no, my body. I would never think rapping would be in my future. I remember in 2014 at 15, we was growing up watching G7, GS9, and the G-Stone Crips get big. And they from the 90s on the east side. And I would be like, damn, imagine I'm like that. But like Big said, it was all a dream. A dream that might come true. But with that life, he began to produce an image that he had to protect at all costs. Sheff was all the way in the streets and all in for his gang. He wanted people to know he was the boss and that he called the shots. With money and fame came power, and plenty of people would do what he asked that they do. In 2017, his life began to get better. His single No Suburban went viral, and he was credited as one of the pioneers of the Brooklyn drill music movement. He made a remix of No Suburban with GS9 affiliate rapper Corey Finesse. In 2019, he would release his mixtape called The Unlucky Lucky Kid. His label Winner's Circle Entertainment was founded in the same year. Life was changing. In May 2020, he released his debut studio album called One and Only. His single No Suburban Part 2 would also go viral, with over 21 million streams. It was later certified gold by RIAA in 2022. In August 2020, Winner's Circle Entertainment began a partnership with RCA Records, and that money got real. Sheff G and Sleepy Hallow released the single Tiptoe, produced by Great John using a sample of Tiny Tim's version of Tiptoe Through the Tulips. It was the second Sheff G single to be certified gold. On December 16, 2020, he released the mixtape Proud of Me Now. Throughout 2021, a multitude of singles would release, including On Go, featuring Polo G in July, and Run It Up featuring Sleepy Hallow, and A Boogie with the Hoodie in August. He was hustling that music hard, but what else was he doing? Eventually, Sheff and Sleepy Hallow garnered over 100 million views and streams on YouTube and Spotify. His music would put plenty of bread into his hands to do as he pleased. A young man in his 20s, he had what he always wanted, or so he thought. The dreams he dreamed of had become his reality. He was blowing up like the World Trade Center. He went from Flatbush, Brooklyn to a Short Hills, New Jersey mansion, but that rise to the top would be short-lived. Before long, he would be living in a Bear Hill Correctional Facility in upstate New York after pleading guilty on October 20th, 2021 and getting banged with a 2-year term. Sheff, in his own words, said that violence had always been a part of his life, but did he really live that life? Brooklyn prosecutors say he did, that he was about that street business. Prosecutors would drop an indictment accusing Sheff and 31 others, including Sleepy Hallow, of causing bullet-fueled mayhem throughout the borough, all under the ruthless command of the famous drill rapper, Sheff G himself, as well as Tegan Chambers, Sleepy Hallow. The indictment alleges that Sheff G's crew were responsible for numerous shootings, including using stolen cars during drive-by crimes, targeting rival gang members from Folk Nation Gangster Disciples, and ICG Babies. The drill rapper's music is so widespread that prosecutors went so far as to say that if you have kids, Sheff's music is most likely on their phones. What they may not realize is that away from the studio, prosecutors alleged that Sheff demonstrated a brazen attitude as a criminal mastermind, going as far as to celebrate a mass shooting that left a rival dead with a lavish dinner. 7 of the alleged gang members named in the indictment have not been arrested. 25 of the 8 Trey Crips, an affiliate of the 9 Ways gang, were marched into Brooklyn Supreme Court for their arraignment in a 140-count indictment, while telling the media, "Fuck you," with their middle fingers. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office wanted these dudes off the streets, and they got their wish. Police have said it was a long-term investigation by the Violent Criminal Enterprise Bureau and the NYPD's Gun Violence Suppression Division within the confines of the 67th and 71st precincts. According to investigators, the key areas of focus were the 8 Trey Crips, based out of Flatbush, Catton 8 Trey Crips, East Flatbush 40s 8 Trey Crips, and Canarsy's 80-ounce Flossie 8 Trey Crips. Detectives were able to uncover the 9 Ways gang battle territory, which they allege runs from East New York Avenue to Church Avenue and from Remsen Avenue to East 98th Street in East Flatbush. A gang war ensued within these areas as 8 Trey Crips and 9 Way gangs continuously fought over control, utilizing stolen cars and guns to commit drive-by shootings for territory domination from the Folk Nation Gangster Disciples and ICG Babies. Violence was at an all-time high, leaving 12 victims injured and 1 murdered in a span of 12 shootings. During the continuous battles, gang members used 37 different firearms. 19 guns were discovered during the investigation. In their wake, 3 of the victims injured were innocent bystanders. Of the 12 shootings, Gonzalez, the district attorney, asserts that the most egregious crime was a mass shooting on October 21st, 2020 on Hawthorne Street, within what was deemed as Folk Nation territory. The DA alleges that Comadre Dakuda, 22, opened fire from a car's sunroof, killing rival Theodore Senor, 23, and injuring alleged 5 other Folk Nation members. An hour after the mass shooting, investigators claimed to have evidence showcasing Williams. Sheff allegedly sent a text confirming that 8 Trey and 9 Ways scored a kill against their enemy. Additionally, it was alleged that Williams even hosted a lavish dinner at that steakhouse to celebrate that murder and the wounding of 5 other people. Of course, the DA's office always drums things up, but if they got you on that text, you're in dangerous territory. The DA's office believes that Sheff used the money earned in his music career to fund these acts of gun violence by rewarding those who participate in the mayhem with cash and expensive jewelry. He would also allege that Sheff also used his fame and would pay his gang members about $5,000 for a successful killing and even treat them to ritzy dinners for causing physical harm to their enemies. What's your life like? What's your life worth? More than 5 stacks? More than a steak? Not in Brooklyn. Sheff was idolized by so many and feared by so many more. But where is his life heading? Charged at the top of the indictment as being the shot caller, with a slew of charges including murder, Attica may be his home for the rest of his life. New York, big city of dreams. And everything in New York ain't always what it seems. You might get fooled if you come from out of town, but I'm down by law and I know my way around. New York, big city of dreams. Could be a place where your dreams are made. Could be a place where dreams are lost. In your boy Sheff's case, they got a bunch of evidence when you read the indictment, right? Text messages and just all kinds of stuff. Guns recovered, 32 people arrested, 140 count indictment. But what bothers you the most when you think about it? Was it the little young kid in the front of the line? In some of the videos that are out there on the news, he's got the little kufi on. Just a little young kid looking stern in the face. Then he sees someone that he knows and he smiles and then he's back to that face because he knows this shit just got real. Or how about the kid that's smiling and laughing? Some ignorant people might be watching that and say, oh, he thinks this shit's funny. This shit ain't funny. But he ain't laughing because he thinks it's funny. He's laughing to hide his pain because he's uncomfortable. The smile and the laugh is just hiding how he feels inside. The Sheff G, man, just a young kid. Hasn't fully grown up here, mentally, emotionally. Got it all now, right? Fame, fortune. Went from Brooklyn to Jersey, living a good life in a mansion, but still in the streets. Beefing about territory that belongs to the governor. That's Governor Hochul's stuff, man. That ain't yours. And then the crazy part is when you get to New York State prison, right? In reality, it's probably where this kid's heading, right? You get to New York State prison, man. You're like, yo, you're from Brooklyn. Yo, what up? Yo, shut. And then Brooklyn dudes just got this different type of swag, man. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. They got this different type of swag. Dudes usually stick together. But now, man, it's like you're living a life where it's all good. And let me just give you, a quick example. We had some kids, man, where I was from, man, that ended up with 30 years, 30 to life, Kilo, Johnny Brown. And he was in New York State prison with me. He was in Comstock. We were in Comstock together, and he was just like, this had became his life, man. Some Timbs, trying to get some money to get cereal on commissary. Yo, I need 5 bags of cereal. His life became Timberland boots, Air Force Ones, and Frosted Flakes. I know. Sounds crazy, right? You want to laugh. Oh, come on, man. Really, that's what your life becomes, man. Commissary, Timberland boots to take a picture. Come on, man. Take clicks back in the day. That's what your life becomes. This man had it all, man. Fortune, fame, but couldn't leave the streets alone, right? At least that's what they allege. Just let it be a wake-up call, man. Let this case be the case that says, yo, man, you know what? I want to do music. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I understand, man, you're living in an area that's, messed up. You're struggling. But, man, if you make it, you make it. And at some point, man, this thing up here has to click. Man. And your boy Sheff, he was, he produced this image, man. And I always say this because it's important. The image that you project is the image that you have to protect. You ain't got to be the toughest dude in the room, man. You ain't got to be the biggest gangster. You ain't got to be doing videos with guns and, come on, man. You got videos, man, with, you could say, man, they're prop guns or whatever. And my man wasn't even making a video for a video. He was just on the cell phone joint. Like, yeah, we in here, gang, gang, gang. Come on, man. You got to be I got to say it. You got to be the dumbest. You can't be doing stuff like that, man. Because the prosecutors are going to use that. But anyway, let this be a teachable moment, a learning experience where you're like, yo, I want to end up like him. So I probably shouldn't make videos like this with an iPhone 14 talking about, yo, we here, we in the building, gang, gang. Because those guns and those videos, they're going to use them to blast your ass. They're going to show that to the jury if you go to trial, if you don't cop out to 25 years. What I think is going to happen to Sheff? Getting a lot of time. Do I think eventually in the end he might cop out? Probably. He's probably going to cop out, get a high-paid lawyer, and just cop out. Then that's it. Cop out to what? 15, 20? There's a murder in the case. They ain't playing no games. He's the dude that they want. I think he cops out to 20 years. Blood on the razor wire, with respect, until tomorrow, we're out.